Assalamu alaikum everyone, how are you? Hope you all are fine. My name is Rimsha Azhar and welcome to my YouTube channel. Guys, our lecture is based on the famous novel Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë, and in the previous video we will cover the three topics which include introduction of the writer, setting of the novel and character analysis. Now, in this video we will cover the next three topics included summary of the novel, then symbols, and then we conclude our topic. So let's start with the summary of the novel. So, Heathcliff is adopted by Mr. Earnshaw, the owner of the Wuthering Heights. We know Heathcliff is the hero of the novel. Heathcliff and Catherine are raised together and start to fall in love with each other during this period. After the death of Mr. Earnshaw, in character analysis, we discussed that Mr. Earnshaw and Mrs. Earnshaw, the parents of Catherine and Hindley, died early in the novel. So, after the death of Mr. Earnshaw, Heathcliff leaves Wuthering Heights in order to start working to earn money. In the meantime, Catherine marries Edgar Linton in order to be introduced in the world of materialism, despite her love for Heathcliff. After an absence of 3 years, Heathcliff returns with the desire of destroying Hindley and Edgar, blaming them on losing Catherine. Heathcliff married Isabella Linton in order to inherit the Thrushcross Grange, and later they had a son named Linton, born in London. Catherine becomes ill and dies after giving birth to her daughter Catherine. So Hindley also dies, and Earnshaw's estate and inheritance fall into the hands of Heathcliff. Young Catherine and Linton begin a secret romance. Heathcliff forces his son Linton into marriage with Catherine Linton in order to gain control of Thrushcross Grange. Both Linton and Edgar die, and Grange goes to Heathcliff, who now owns both Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange. After the death of Heathcliff, Catherine and Hareton fall in love and marry, inheriting both Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange. So, now symbols of the novel include dogs, hair, weather, wind and trees, ghosts and the moors. The dog is used symbolically with great insights. A dog represents protection as well as violence. A dog trained is obedient to its master. Hareton's loyalty to Heathcliff shows the aspect of symbolic devotion. An unfriendly dog barking to Lockwood represents Lockwood being in a new environment. However, there is a big difference between how dogs are treated in Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange. Dogs are the pets in Thrushcross Grange and security in Wuthering Heights. Second is hair. The color of hair represents prejudice associated with people. The society is similar to race. The blonde hair represents the Thrushcross Grange. The blonde hair is a key to privileged social life. Black hair symbolizes the old in Wuthering Heights, the Earnshaw family. The family privileges were taken down the evil path of rejection and obsession. The climax of the evil and good tussle ends with Catherine, a blonde, loving Hareton. A dark haired person represents good triumph over evil, giving forth to peace, unity, and happiness. Now, weather, wind, and tree. Weather, wind, and tree are natural events used in the novel to present emotions and tones of the circumstances in the novel. The blowing wind and rain naturally represents a storm that depicts anger and violence. A cool breeze represents peace, hope, and goodness. The author has used pathetic fallacy skillfully using weather pattern to reflect emotions and events at any given point of the time. The weather can change one's feelings symbolically. Rain and snow represents violent emotions. Snow represents coldness of the heart, a murder. The ghosts. Ghosts are spirits used to represent souls, memory, and the past in Wuthering Heights. The symbols represent different themes: love and obsession, good and evil. Cathy's ghost disturbs Heathcliff based on the stored memory of shared past. The love of Cathy turns into an obsession for revenge. Heathcliff and Cathy curse and fought each other, giving each other no peace. They rejected heaven and go and proclaimed no peace in life or death. This explains why their spirits and souls were wandering, haunting, or getting haunted. Ghosts cannot be separated from good or evil. The main character of the novel believed in ghosts, whereas the children of the main characters didn't believe in ghosts represents a new beginning. Kathy's ghost may be a figment of the imagination, probably just a representation of memories. The moors. A moor is a barren land unsuitable for farming. Moor symbolically represents the concept of a place between life and death, a grey area between good and evil. Wuthering Heights represent the epitome of evil, while Thrushcross Grange represents the good physically. The moors would be a place between Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange. The moor to Cathy and the Heathcliff represents freedom from religion, social barriers, and their happiness. The two are neither in hell or nor heaven, but roaming the moors without inhabitation. A moor is a place of no rules, no culture, and no social class. A home with no rules, a safe place. So the themes of the novel, there are many themes of the novel: good and evil, relationships, violence and revenge, class differences, dominance of Petrarchy, knowledge and power, and childhood. So, theme of the novel include the good and evil. Theological conception of good and evil are the major theme of the novel. She has represented this trend through pity, love, revenge, and obsession. At first, there is an inclination of different characters towards either good or evil. Later, Mrs. Dean tries to understand the motives of Edgar and Heathcliff. She also tries to understand whether Heathcliff and Cathy are inclined to good or evil. The author has presented Catherine, Hareton, and Edgar along with Mrs. Dean leaning towards goodness. Mrs. Dean shows her love and compassion for others. However, Cathy, contrary to her, turns towards evil when it comes to treating others, such as Heathcliff. Next is relationship. The relationship shown between two families of Linton and Earnshaw are very strong. However, the love between Heathcliff and Catherine is confusing. They were siblings when they grew up at Wuthering Heights and developed a special love for each other. After a while, it continues to confuse Catherine until she marries Edgar Linton. Heathcliff never forgives her for marrying Edgar. He also takes revenge from Isabella for marrying him. This shows the estrangement in this relationship forming ability. On the other hand, Earnshaw's kindness towards him in the beginning shows his ability to forge relations even with adopted children. Violence and revenge. Violence begets violence. The author tells the impacts of violence along with the theme of revenge. Through Heathcliff, the readers see the abuse he suffers. Hence, he abuses the other person. People become revengeful when they are ill treated in their childhood. For example, Heathcliff turns violence to everyone around him. The same in the case of Hindley. Heathcliff first makes Hindley pay by making him homeless and then keeping Hareton secluded from the social world. He even tries to marry Catherine as revenge on Earnshaw and Cathy. Class differences. In the 18th and 19th century, it has been a popular strain in various stories where people born in one class usually stayed in the same or be insulted and humiliated. Edgar is rich because of his belongings to a rich class. His parents inherited him property. On the contrary, Nellie Dean is poor at the service because of her class. The idea of mobility from one class to another class was a foreign concept. However, the author had explored it in depth. The difference between the class changes. Heathcliff is brought by Earnshaw at home to bring him up in class. However, he is snubbed by Linton's Hareton. On the other hand, loses his inheritance and becomes homeless because of Heathcliff. Dominance in Petrarchy. Before the 20th century, most of the male heirs were abusive towards children and women in the family. Earnshaw's expectations about Cathy to behave appropriately towards others in the case in point. He wants her to show her arrogant attitude towards others at home. Edgar Linton also shows the rough side of Petrarchy when he forces Catherine to make a choice between Heathcliff and him instead of allowing her free will to choose. Henley shows Petrarchy when he makes Heathcliff pay for his excesses. Heathcliff displays his power by creating Isabella and later Nellie and Cathy. Thus, the author has shown the abusive aspect of Petrarchy in the novel. Knowledge and power. Knowledge and power are intertwined. It is shown through the abusive behavior of Heathcliff, who forces Hareton to stay uneducated. He does so to keep the power to question his immoral authority. Similarly, Catherine providing books to Michael is a conditional act that he would deliver her letters to Linton. The start of the novel also shows his power, causing out of the writer graffiti at Wuthering Heights mention about the names of Catherine Earnshaw and her daughter to show their power and authority over the mansion. It also gives pleasure and a source of consolation for Kathy when she sees their name. Childhood. The novel shows the impacts of childhood never fade away, even if a child is raised in a high mansion like Wuthering Heights. Heathcliff shows the wild side of his nature despite having got a space with upper class. Now, the conclusion of the novel, as has been argued, defense mechanism has influenced much of the behavior and decision of important characters in Wuthering Heights. Therefore, this defense mechanism have an impact on their destination in life. Furthermore, each character's defense mechanism have influenced other characters, and consequently, they have an impact on the events in Wuthering Heights. Catherine Earnshaw, who becomes Catherine Linton, is also influenced by defense mechanism, namely denial, repression, and projection. These defense mechanisms have a great impact upon her decision in life and the reasons for her suffering. Furthermore, these defense mechanisms have affected subsequently Heathcliff, that is to say, his miseries start the moment Catherine takes her decision to marry Edgar, the decision which is outcome of denial. So guys, thank you for watching. Guys, if you like my video, please subscribe my channel and share my video with your friends. And if you wanna see the first video, link is in the description box, you can check it. So Allah Hafiz.